business and getting clients is the very similar psychology to kind of picking up women and spinning plates, which is just kind of dating around a little bit. And what's funny is a lot of the old pickup artist books, like The Game by Neil Strauss or like mystery stuff, if anyone is familiar with this, these are old pickup artists who like wrote books on like the psychology and the science behind picking up women. And the Rollo Tomassi stuff, that has actually helped me in business astronomically because I work with exceptionally high net worth business owners, businesses that are doing high 8 to low 9 figures per year. And I work directly with the founders. And so the psychology behind picking up let's say a 10 out of 10 girl and getting a guy who makes $100 million a year as a client is actually the same when you understand the psychology of human behavior and how humans are treated. Let's just take the 10 out of 10 girl. People are constantly sucking up to her. They are hand over fist doing anything that you want. They usually have exceptionally easy lives throughout because everyone's just very nice to them. Guys are just probably getting 10 to 20 approaches a day asking for their number or hitting them up on Instagram and just wanting to be around them because they're so beautiful and everyone's so nice to exceptionally good looking girls. And then same thing with CEOs of companies, of guys who are very successful. They're used to everyone around them sucking up to them and laughing at their jokes when they're not funny, doing anything that they need to because they just want to suck on the teat of their success per se, which makes it to where the psychology between, let's say, closing that client and picking up that girl is actually exceptionally similar. And it's eerie how similar it actually is. For all my clients, you have to hold the frame. And so going back to the book, let's say The Game by Neil Strauss, which is one, I think, the best sales books that I've ever read on closing clients, even though it's really trying to close women. The psychology for clients, this is much different when you're dealing with B2B versus B2C. The psychology is very different as if you're trying to close like one to many than if you're trying to close like a big high profile client, which those are the people that I deal with. And then I market their stuff online, dealing with mainly B2C or B2B for whatever their businesses are. So you have to go into it with the expectation that you are actually the prize. And I do in both scenarios. One, because it is, if you understand basic hypergamy from, let's say, a woman perspective, the chances of them finding someone in my age demographic doing the things that I'm doing, at least from an interest perspective, since I'm 22, the competition's really going to be like a frat guy or something. And at least from how much I have my life put together and at least objectively speaking, how interesting my life is and all the things that I'm doing from a hypergamous standpoint, that's just women want to date sideways and up in the socioeconomic ladder. It becomes exceptionally easy because I spent 3 to 4 years just developing my business and my life and trying to become the highest value person humanly possible to where now everything's actually easy. All that is done in the past. All the work to get to where I was today is just the actions of my past results, taking the right actions over and over and over again. And so from a hypergamous standpoint, it's actually pretty easy. But I also don't give a fuck about closing more clients or actually getting women. Like that is just my main goal is just continuing to get better and better at what I'm doing. And so when I'm talking to a potential client, I'm not actually trying to get anything from them. I genuinely I could care less about closing another client. I really, that is not an objective of mine. It's great if it happens, but my goal is to continue to get better. And I have a bunch of other ways where I want to take this long term that is kind of segmented from the current business model that I have to kind of evolve it. And so I take on clients as favors. And so you have to understand that psychological shift. I'm taking on these clients as a favor to them. And that is exceptionally important. I am saying, okay, I'll take this on because I really like what you're doing. I want to be a part of the mission, and I would love to work together, but it's really not worth my time unless it's under these circumstances. And so I'm making them put in a lot more effort. And I'm not doing that because I'm just some dickhead. One, this actually works. It actually does. They respect it a lot more. I have strict boundaries as to what I'm looking for. And it actually makes you the prize to where they're competing for your business as opposed to you competing for them. And I'm not trying to just take anything from them. I mean, most people are used to just always getting sucked up on. And when you don't get that, you respect it a lot, especially when you're in a position where you like none of these super successful business owners that I know, they want to like rip on each other. Like that's what they enjoy doing with their buddies. But most of their employees are just constantly sucking on their teeth because they just want to keep their job or get promoted or not get fired or any garbage that's going through their mind. They're not willing to say the truth. So I am brutally honest. Well, like one of the first things I say to any of these people is I just call them out on the shit that they're doing wrong in my niche. And so I understand that I am definitely a specialist in the niche that I'm in, which is helping them with their online social media marketing. I'm definitely a specialist compared to them. And so I understand my lane. It is a specialist in this. So I will call them out on that. But I'll also tell them what I think they could be doing better, why they're doing it wrong, who they like. I genuinely just want to help them because I want them to do better, and I don't see them as competition, which is incredibly respectable for them and for me. I mean, it's a very mutualistic, favorable position to be in, but it's also making you more of an equal, which is the same psychology with women in a lot of different ways. That's actually what it takes for, let's say, picking up very high quality women. It's most guys are just not high quality themselves. And the same thing for working with exceptionally successful businesses or business owners is, like, let's say a lot of people reach out on YouTube. They find someone on YouTube that they like. I used to do this all the time and rate, hey, I'll work for you for free and do all these things. And you never get responses. Same thing if you're Instagramming some chick on or DMing some chick on Instagram, you get nothing. Because you're not in a position where you're actually worthy of them. Like you are not just going to be able to bang the hottest chick of all time that's like has our shit together. That is just simply not going to happen. The same way it's not going to happen that you are going to close a guy who makes a few $100 million a year in revenue. It's simply because you have to, let's say, focus on yourself for a few years and become the highest version of yourself. I mean, that's actually what makes dating so easy now, is because I spent a few years just becoming the absolute best version of myself. So in comparison, from a hypergamous standpoint, it's actually very easy. But it's the same thing for closing a client. You're just not worthy when you have no skills. So at same time as you're developing a skill that is in very high demand for these people, they need you more than you need them. That is in both situations, because there's not options on the other side of the table for the services that I'm providing, or from a hypergamy standpoint. That is where you have a huge edge. And so it's a very weird dynamic, but the psychology is almost the exact same, especially in the business means if you put someone on a pedestal, they're going to treat you like a fan. And if you do that to very successful people and want to take pictures with them, or that's a bad example, I'm using like a celebrity example, but if you treat them like they are above you, they're going to treat you as if you're underneath them, which is why you have to be on the same level for either a super hot chick or as a super successful guy. And getting good at one actually relates for the other one very, very, very well.